Spider5 here, and today I'm bringing you guys another commentary, but this time it's going to be about something a little more personal to me than just me not liking Infinite Warfare Zombies. So, recently, as you guys can probably tell, I'm a big Marvel fan. I'm playing the game. The game I'm playing right now is Marvel Heroes 2016, which is a really fun free-to-play game on Steam, where you get to play as many Marvel characters, and it's just really fun. I really like it. And so you can probably tell by the gameplay, and as well as the way my channel looks, but I love Marvel comics. I'm a big comic book fan. I'm probably the biggest geek when it comes to comic book stuff. Like, I just love comic books. I love superheroes, I love comic books, and I especially love Marvel. I prefer Marvel over DC, generally. So, recently though, Marvel has been doing something that I have not been a big fan of. So a little while ago there was this big event, universe-changing event, called Secret Wars, and it was supposed to be like, they made it look like it was going to be a big reboot of the Marvel Universe, and in actuality it really wasn't a big reboot of the Marvel Universe. They were just basically saying, here, we want to change a lot of things, we want to kind of get like a fresh start on our characters, so here's something that, here's a big event, and they created this new thing called All New, All Different Marvel, also known as ANAD. And when I first saw Anna coming out, I was super hyped. I was like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm so glad Marvel's going to make so many new superheroes. I can't wait to see my old superheroes back. I was really hyped because I figured they were probably going to make a lot of new characters. That's what I thought. And I ended up being very disappointed, unfortunately. Because Marvel did not make any new characters. What Marvel instead did is that they bitched out and they just changed their original characters to fit in with what they wanted to do. And this is what I mean. For an example, take a look at Spider-Man, because he's my favorite superhero, so he's the one I followed the closest, and he's one of the best examples I can give of how they changed him. When Spider-Man was first introduced back in the 60s, he was a 15-year-old high school student who fell into some powers and learned, with great power comes great responsibility, yada yada yada. We've all seen the many movie reboots, the many movies tellings of his origin, so we all should know it. But Spider-Man was very popular because he was a relatable comic book character. He had issues that other people had too. And as I heard it once stated, comic books are built upon relatability and consistency. And Marvel is kind of losing sight of both of those. So basically what happened is Spider-Man was first introduced in the 60s, he was relatable, he had everyday issues. When he wasn't superheroing it up and battling against supervillains like Electro, the Green Goblin, he had everyday issues, like he was late to class, he had to pay rent, he had to find work, he had everyday problems. He was basically a down on his luck kind of guy that people related to and enjoyed reading him and watching him stuff, because it was like, yo, I have these same issues too, I'm not that different from Spider-Man in some ways. So Spider-Man was popular because he ended up being a very relatable character. He ended up being a very relatable comic book character. But what Marvel's doing nowadays is that they've changed it. Basically Spider-Man and now, current Marvel in ANAD, he's basically Tony Stark. He's basically a billionaire playboy philanthropist. Now, he's not really much of a playboy, but he is a billionaire. He runs Parker Industries, so he's got a high-tech spider suit. He's got some of his old superhero friends, like the Prowler, pretending to be Spider-Man as his bodyguard. Boy, that doesn't sound like it wasn't taken directly from the plot of the Iron Man movie. Back in like 2008, or however long ago it was. So that was like, really? He's got Spider-Man as like his personal bodyguard? Tony Stark much, man? Basically, Peter Parker became Tony Stark. He doesn't really have his everyday problems anymore that made him such a relatable character back in the 60s. And actually what made him a relatable character for pretty much all of his continuity up until Secret Wars. They basically just said, here, Spider-Man, Tony Stark, let's swap them. Tony Stark's now very down in his luck. Peter Parker's now super rich, successful, and famous. And it's like, really? Why did you guys feel like you had to change him this much? It really was not that necessary. He was still selling well. He was still a successful comic book character. It's not like he really needed a reboot. So, But that's just one example. Another example is Bruce Banner is now gone. The human side of the Hulk has been replaced by this, I believe this Asian man. I don't know his name. But Hulk's been replaced, and he's like a very upbeat, funky kind of guy from what I've seen. They've taken out all the strife that the Hulk deals with. And that disappoints me because one of the reasons why the Hulk, I think, was a successful character, besides just being, a raging green Hulk monster that would destroy things with his super strength, was that if you look at the more emotional, like, deep mental side of the Hulk, I feel like a lot of, especially teenagers who go through depression, they feel like they can relate to the Hulk because Bruce Banner, the comics did a very good job of showing Bruce Banner's emotional struggle with dealing with something as powerful as the Hulk. And I feel like if you have anger issues, if you have depression, it does feel like you got a monster inside of you that is trying to get out. I've had depression before. I probably still do. It's just, it just comes and goes. And it does feel like, you have like a monster inside of you. It does feel like you've got something inside of you trying to get out. And that's what they kind of made it look like. That's what they made it look like was going on with the Hulk. Bruce Banner has this monster inside of him that he's trying to get out, and he's trying to keep it in, but the monster wants to get out. So the Hulk, the emotional struggle that Bruce Banner goes through with the Hulk, I think brought in a lot of young adults because they were like, you know what, I kind of feel like this too. I feel like I got a monster inside of me too. So they felt like the Hulk was a relatable character due to his emotional struggles. But Marvel now is just like, the Hulk is now an uptown funky guy, if you know what I mean. And he's like, he doesn't have that emotional struggle anymore. And it's like, come on. That's my phone, just ignore that. But basically what Marvel's doing is they're changing the original characters too much. Those are just two examples of how they change them. But those aren't even the most drastic of changes. See, what they're doing is that what the main thing is that they're doing is that they're gender swapping, race swapping, and sexuality swapping a whole lot of characters. Thor, the mighty Thor, is now a girl. Captain America is now Sam Wilson, so he's black. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but it's not the same Cap that most people grew up with. And see, well, I do not have a problem with diversity among comic books. I am all for more diverse characters. I'm all for more black, white, Hispanic, Asian, gay, straight, bi, trans, male, female. I'm all for new characters that are all of those different things. But Marvel is just doing it in not the right way. They're not doing it in the right way. Basically, Marvel, it seems to me like they're too scared to make new original characters, so they feel like that they just have to change their original characters instead of making new ones, and just basically saying, oh yeah, we're just gonna gender swap this guy and call it good. And it's like, no, don't do that. Grow a pair and actually make new characters. Make new titles come out. Make brand new characters. Don't just say, oh, here's an original character. Let's change this, make them black. Let's make them gay. And boom, there you go. Brand new character. Even though it's the, brand new guy, but we're gonna give him the name of an old original superhero. And it's like, no, don't do that. That's dumb. Make new original characters, for crying out loud. Don't just replace the old ones. Especially if the old ones are still good ones. And like I said, I have no problem with the diversity among comic books. I'm all for diversity, but I'm not for it in the way that Marvel is doing it. And it's honestly just disappointing me the way that Marvel's doing it. I don't think they're doing it in the correct way that they should be doing it. Because I grew up with all these superheroes, pre-Secret Wars superheroes. I grew up with all of them. I read them, I watched them in TV shows and movies, and read their comic books and novels and all that jazz. Got lots of Marvel paraphernalia at home, as well as a Marvel-themed YouTube channel even. Like, I don't do, only Marvel stuff, but, my channel artwork is mainly Spider-Man themed, and that's a Marvel character. So all these, original characters that I've grew up with and loved for many years of both being, the little kid, middle-aged kid, young teenager, late-age teenager, all that jazz, it's gone now because I don't care what you say. When you change a character's race, gender, and sexuality, the personality changes too. Some people say it doesn't. It really does, though. It really does change your personality. Your personality changes a lot when you change the race, gender, and sexuality. And like I said, I have no problem with the diversity, but I don't like the way that Marvel's doing it, because they're not doing it in an honorable way. They're doing it in a cheap, cop-out way, where they're like, we're too afraid that we're not going to make any sales on this brand new character, so we're just going to, like, take this original character, get him out of the picture, and make this new female gay character. And like I said, I have no problem with, you know, diversity among the comics, but I want it to be where they actually make brand new characters, not just replace the old characters, especially if the old characters are still good characters. And it just pisses me off. It just annoys me that this is the way that Marvel's doing it now, because it's the cheapest way that it is the cheapest possible way that they can do it. And yet, what do you know? It's the way that they're doing it. And it's just so frustrating to see my original characters with their own unique personalities gone now because they've changed into something else. And it might not exactly be a personality that I like. They might not have a personality that I like anymore, and I'll lose interest in the character. It feels to me like Marvel is basically saying, screw the old original fans that we've had for many, many years now. We just want to appeal to the new fans and the new societal norms so we can get all them sales. And they're basically just like, screw off the old fans. We just want to appeal to these new people to try to get them as fans. And it's like, why are you doing this? Why? You're changing these characters, you're changing these guys' personalities. A lot. A lot. And it's like I said, I'll repeat it many, many times to get my point across. I have no problems with racially diverse, sexually diverse, and different gendered characters. I have no problem with that. I'm all for seeing more gay characters, for seeing more black characters, for seeing more female characters. I am all for it. 100%. But I want it to be done in an original way. Not in a way where it's like, here's this character, we're gonna remove the character, take their name, and make a new superhero. For the best example of this is Iron Man. They changed Tony Stark, they got rid of Tony Stark, basically, and they said, we're gonna have this 15-year-old black girl become the new Iron Man. And I think it's a really cool idea, except for the part where it's like, this is the new Iron Man. It's like, why can't you guys just make a new superhero? Make a brand new superhero then. Like, call her Iron Maiden or something like that. That'd be awesome. But nope, they're just like, oh, nope, this is the new Iron Man. Deal with it. Old Iron Man, he's gone. This is the new Iron Man. There you go. And it's frustrating because it's like, no. Don't do it like that. That's not the way to do it. They say they're boasting about making original characters that are so diverse, but in actuality, they're not making original characters that are diverse. They're just taking the names of the old characters that they already had and just changing them around a lot to say that they're diverse. But I don't think it's diverse if it's not an original concept. Make new superheroes that are female, different races, and, you know, different sexualities. Don't just take an already pre-existing character and then just change them around a lot to make them something else. Like, no, don't do that. That's the cheapest way possible to do it. And it makes me I burped. I'm sorry. It makes me angry. I burp when I get ranty. I'm sorry about that. But it makes me angry because Marvel has essentially lost all of their originality. It's essentially gone. And they've lost quite a bit of the consistency, and they've lost almost all of the relatability, because all of the characters now are pretty much larger-than-life characters. Like Spider-Man being super rich and successful, and, you know, have a big major industry, and all that stuff like that is like, well, Spider-Man's no longer a relatable character, because he doesn't really have any problems besides superhero problems. And I don't think many of us can relate to superhero problems. I don't think there are many superheroes out there. Pardon me. So, essentially, it's just disappointing. I'm just very disappointed with Marvel that they're not making original characters. They're just basically being like, yo, take these old characters, change like their entire personality, because we changed so many other different traits about them, and they just sell the same title under the same name, even though it's really not the same title anymore. And it's disappointing. It pisses me off, because there goes my original characters that I grew up with and fell in love with. There goes them for these brand new characters that claim to be them but really aren't. And it's just disappointing. Marvel is just, they're too scared to try out new characters, so they just feel like they gotta change the original characters, change them around so much. It's just disappointing. And it's like I said, I have nothing against diversity. I love seeing new comic book characters be created. I love new characters. I love them. I would love seeing more black characters, more female characters, more gay characters. I honestly think that'd be really cool. It'd be unique. Because not many other people have done it before. I love it. I would love that. But not when they just simply make it, oh, here's a character that already exists, let's change them to fit into these new standards, and there we go, call it good. Because I like these new diverse characters being original, and they're not original in this case anymore. Marvel is losing its originality because they're like, oh, we're too scared to make a new character, so fuck all y'alls. You know, Captain America that you love now? Well, he's a completely different person. Completely different person now. So, Marvel, I love the diversity, but you're doing it in the wrong way. Make brand new characters. Don't just wimp out and just have these new characters be the same characters. Like, make new names, make brand new characters. Don't just say, oh yeah, here's Iron Man, but it's not even Iron Man anymore, but we're gonna sell it as Iron Man. It's dumb. That's so dumb. It's the cheapest way of them trying to be diverse when they're really not, because it's not an original idea at all. Here's a brand new character, but we're gonna sell them under the exact same name of an old character. That's what they're doing, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So that's my little rant for the day of like what's wrong with Marvel these days. And it's just that they've lost they're too scared to do anything new. They've lost their originality, and they're trying to. They say that they're making new diverse characters, but they really aren't. They're just changing these old characters around because they're too scared to make new ones. And it's really disappointing. It really is disappointing. So yeah, that's my rant for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it informative. Tell me what you guys think of Anad down below in the comments section. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.